Yes, friends, official details have been revealed, and billions of dollars in extra relief funds have been allocated towards several new stimulus programs. These programs will help millions of Americans, especially those who are experiencing financial hardships due to this ongoing crisis. This is very exciting news, friends. Lawmakers are finally making huge progress on getting more stimulus checks out to the American people. Up to $1,000 can be claimed by eligible Americans to help ease the effects of soaring inflation. So friends, please make sure you watch until the end of this video because I will be sharing with you how you can claim this extra relief aid. Friends, to say thank you for joining me here every day, when I post a video, I'm giving away 4 $75 Walmart gift cards every week. Please make sure you click and like several of my videos and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, the greater your chances of winning these giveaways. Here is the latest update on stimulus relief programs. Cleveland City Council has recently given the okay to a new round of federal stimulus funding that benefits several social service programs, including help for the growing number of folks who are facing evictions. To help those who are facing eviction, the council has awarded $1 million in stimulus funds to the Legal Aid Society of Cleveland. The money, which is part of the American Rescue Plan Act, will be used for the Right to Counsel initiative, which provides legal representation for tenants who are facing eviction. Officials have told reporters this week, this money goes a long way. The return on investment is incredible for the Cleveland community. Last year, close to $5 million of funds were saved in terms of missed work and opportunities for education for folks we helped in the community. The Legal Aid Society of Cleveland helps residents facing stressful situations, including eviction. This is great news for many Americans, especially as housing costs continue to rise in the United States. So when asked about the new plan, state officials said, we're on pace to see a 30% increase in requests for housing help. This post-crisis increase is due to a whole variety of factors, including housing conditions, rent increase, and inflation. The City Council also approved use of stimulus funds for other social services. Nearly $3 million will be used to provide signing and retention bonuses for early childhood education workers. Another $2 million will help families pay for their child care. Recently, Cleveland Mayor Justin Bibb also unveiled $102.5 million in stimulus funding, with nearly half of that going to housing for all. The proposed housing policies include $35 million to incentivize public, private housing, $10 million in home repair funds, and $5 million for a revolving loan pool for contractors to build in underserved neighborhoods. City officials are also deciding how they want to vote on future American Rescue Plan spending, whether they want to split their legislation into several bills or approve a single proposal. Friends, the keyword for this video is Liberty Bell. If you would like to enter today's Walmart gift card giveaway, please click and like several of my videos, and then comment below this keyword, which is Liberty Bell, and additional keywords of any video of mine that you watch. And do make sure, friends, that you are subscribed to my channel. Remember, the more videos that you comment on, the greater your chances of winning the giveaways. But there is some more breaking news, friends. According to a newly released Congressional Budget Office report, President Biden's plan to cancel up to $20,000 in federal student loan debt for low and middle income borrowers could cost $400 billion. President Biden announced a forgiveness plan in August after facing mounting pressure from progressives to broadly cancel some student loan debt. The Department of Education plans to release an application for the program in October. No student debt has been canceled yet. The Congressional Budget Office, which conducts nonpartisan analysis for Congress, warned in the report that the estimates are highly uncertain. The estimate relies on a number of assumptions, including how many eligible borrowers will apply, as well as what portion of the outstanding federal student loan debt may not have been repaid anyway over the lifetime of the loans due to other existing forgiveness programs. Those projections depend in part on future economic conditions. The White House is expected to release its own estimate of President Biden's student forgiveness plan in the next coming weeks. The administration previously said the plan would reduce cash flow by about $24 billion in the first year. Under Biden's plan, individual borrowers who earn less than $125,000 a year in 2020 or 2021, and married couples or heads of households who earn less than $250,000 annually in those years will see up to $10,000 of the federal student loan debt forgiven. If a qualifying borrower also received a federal Pell Grant while enrolled in college, the individual is eligible for up to $20,000 of debt forgiveness. Pell Grants are awarded to millions of low-income students each year, based on factors including their family size and income, and the cost charged by their college. According to many experts, these borrowers are also more likely to struggle to repay their student debt and end up in default. Key Democratic lawmakers, including Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, have been pressuring President Biden to cancel up to $50,000 in federal student loan debt per borrower. While the president's plan will cancel less debt than they had called for, the Democrats have applauded the move, but Republicans have slammed President Biden's student loan forgiveness plan as a giveaway that unfairly transfers wealth from the working class to people who went to college. So friends, please let me know what your thoughts are on the student loan forgiveness plan. Well, my fabulous and beautiful friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for this afternoon. Thank you very, very, very much for joining me here every day. And I truly appreciate every single one of you. To say thank you, I'll be announcing a winner for the $75 Walmart gift card giveaway in a video later today. So please enter the keywords in the comment section below and remember to stay tuned for that video. Thank you, friends, and have a wonderful and blessed Monday.
I said judges would be a priority, and this is what that looks like. And it's my intention, as Majority Leader, to keep the Senate focused on judges this week and beyond. Our fundamental rights and our democracy itself depend on it. Now on marriage. Off the Senate floor, my colleagues continue to have good conversations on very important legislation to codify marriage equality into law. Far from being a theoretical exercise, codifying marriage equality would have a dramatic long-term impact on millions of people. At a time when our rights are under siege, it would be a much-needed shield for scores of Americans at risk of discrimination simply because of who they love. For many of us in this chamber, myself included, passing marriage equality would hit home in a very personal way. I want to thank my colleagues from both sides of the aisle, especially Senators Baldwin, Collins, and Sinema, for all the work they're doing to build support for marriage equality legislation. Over the past several months, I've given them the time and space they have requested to have these talks, because I want their efforts to succeed. I know their work is not yet done, and I encourage them to keep going. I truly hope, for the sake of tens of millions of Americans, that there will be at least 10 Republicans who will vote with us to pass this very important bill. We cannot forget that a mere decade ago, marriage discrimination was the law in much of the country. While we're happy that America's made a lot of progress since then, we're not naive in thinking we can't go backwards. As we saw earlier this year, it took the Supreme Court just a few weeks to unravel decades of vital precedent on women's rights, gun safety, and environmental protection. And, of course, Judge Thomas has opened the door for the court to go even further backward when he's saying that cases like Obergefell, which protect marriage equality for now, should be revisited. So when some Republicans say, oh, this is unnecessary, it won't happen, remember, that's the same thing they said about Roe. And look at where we are today. We should protect marriage equality now, well before the MAGA-controlled Supreme Court steps in. So I encourage my colleagues to continue these conversations. The American people support protecting marriage rights of same-sex marriages by a large margin. So let's get it done. Finally, on the legislative front on the CR, both parties must work together to keep the government open beyond the September 30th deadline. As my colleagues know, negotiations continue on a CR to extend funding through about mid-December, which hopefully will give appropriators enough time to draft an omnibus funding package. I thank Chairman Leahy, Ranking Member Shelby, and everyone from both sides working to keep the government open. No one wants to see a shutdown, and I know that includes my Republican colleagues. But in order to avoid a shutdown, Senate Republicans must continue working with us to resolve the issues that remain. And finally, on the 21st anniversary of the horrible day, 9/11, everywhere I go, whenever I'm wearing a suit or sport jacket, I wear this flag pin on my lapel, a small but constant reminder of a promise America made 21 years ago. Never forget. It was on that day, September 12th, 2001, that having seen the horror, smelling the death of the death in the air, hearing the horrible stories and seeing hundreds of people lined up with poignant signs that said, "Have you seen my son Bill? Have you seen my mother Mary?" Because no one knew who was alive and who wasn't. On that day, I called on Americans to wear the flag, to display it at their homes, out their windows, or at least wear it on their clothing. I've done so ever since, and every day I look at that flag, I think of the people who were lost and the vicious evil of those who perpetrated this awful act. Yesterday, I joined with the Vice President, Governor Hochul, Mayor Adams, and others to honor the fallen of September 11th, to grieve for those who were taken from us, and to affirm that over 2 decades later, though scarred and battered, our country and our democracy endure. An eternity can pass, and yet September 11th will always feel like yesterday to me. As clearly as you sit before me, Madam President, I still remember what it was like to visit the wreckage a day or two later. The destruction, the smell, the noise was nothing like the New York I knew and loved. People, as I mentioned, lined up along the sidewalks, hoisting makeshift signs that asked the unthinkable. Have you seen my daughter? Have you seen my father? Those images, as well as the people I knew who were lost, will never leave me. Yet in the midst of so much pain, on 9/11, America encountered its best self. Ordinary people banded together to do extraordinary things. Taxi drivers, store managers, businessmen, city workers, everyone in between, abandoned their day jobs and became heroes. They donated blood. They organized prayer vigils. I'll never forget the sight of a shoe store owner along the route as people escaped from the towers, handing out shoes, just depleting his entire stock so people could walk home. People volunteered their times and resources to comfort those in need and rebuild our city to new heights. And the same is true for millions across the country. And to our first responders and volunteers who worked the pile, we owe you such a special and undying measure of thanks. Among all our heroes of that time, they were among the greatest and most valiant, and many of them have paid for that with their lives, because the toxins that were in the air entered their lungs and digestive systems and caused cancers to the extent we have never known in those age groups before. That's why we've worked so hard in this chamber to help provide health care and help for those who have lost loved ones. When we say that America will never forget what happened on 9/11, we mean something far more profound than recalling the memories of that awful day.